Hold up. Stop everything. If you've been agonizing, maybe even stalking social media just a little bit, we've all been there, don't judge, watching your ex-narcissist parade around their shiny, seemingly perfect new partner, I need you to lean in close, because this revelation is going to fundamentally change how you view their relationship. We are talking about something deeply satisfying, something that proves everything you went through was a pattern, not a failing on your part. What if I told you the grand illusion, the big love-bombing spectacle they put on for the new person, is already crumbling? What if I told you that right now, as we speak, they are likely bored stiff, eyes already wandering, searching for the next fix? It sounds unbelievable, especially after how they made you feel. But trust me, understanding why this happens is the key to finally letting go and embracing your incredible journey toward freedom. This insight isn't petty revenge, it's pure, unadulterated closure, and you deserve to feel that peace. Well, hello there, friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're here, you probably know the chilling emptiness that follows a narcissistic discard. It leaves you spinning, wondering how they could move on so fast, how they could instantly replace you with someone who looks happier, shinier, and somehow better. We've all felt that gut punch, that painful comparison game. But here is the comforting truth we are diving into today. That dazzling, picture-perfect romance they are currently staging? It's a sham. It's a performance designed to last precisely until the narcissist realizes the new supply is just another human being with flaws, needs, and opinions, which, spoiler alert, happens ridiculously quickly, often weeks, sometimes days after the love-bombing climax. Their boredom is a guaranteed outcome because the root of their need is internal, meaning no external person can ever truly satisfy the black hole residing within their core. Now, let's be brutally honest about the timeline of the narcissistic cycle. When they found the new supply, they were high on the chase, fueled by the novelty and the ego boost of capturing a new victim. This is the idealization phase, where the new person is the perfect mirror, reflecting back only the brilliance and perfection the narcissist desperately needs to see in themselves. They project all their desired qualities onto the new supply, seeing them not as a whole person, but as a customizable fuel source. This initial intense interest is intoxicating, like a powerful drug. It feels like real love to the new target, and it certainly looks like real love to the outside world, especially if you're watching from afar, still nursing your wounds. But remember, this phase is structurally flawed and inherently unsustainable, destined to crash and burn spectacularly. Why does this idealization phase have such a short shelf life? It's because the narcissist's internal wiring demands an ever-increasing supply of validation. It's like an addiction requiring higher and higher doses to feel normal. The new supply is initially potent because they are unknown, they are fresh, and they haven't yet seen behind the mask. They are still blissfully unaware of the narcissist's manipulative tactics, so they offer pure, unquestioning admiration. But as the relationship progresses, two things happen that rapidly trigger the narcissist's crippling boredom. First, the new supply inevitably starts acting like an individual, which is seen as dissent. And second, the narcissist consumes the initial supply so quickly that they deplete its effectiveness almost instantly, demanding more. Think of the narcissist as a person with an insatiable hunger, but they are only capable of eating potato chips, pure junk food, zero nutritional value. The new supply is a massive bag of those chips. Initially, it tastes amazing, gives that salty, crunchy satisfaction, and hits the dopamine centers perfectly. But within moments of consumption, the hunger returns, even stronger than before, because potato chips can never fulfill the deep, protein-based need the body actually has. The narcissist's hunger is for self-worth and genuine internal connection, but they are only equipped to consume fleeting external validation. The new supply, no matter how wonderful, is ultimately just a bag of chips that leaves them feeling emptier than before they started. The key dynamic to grasp is that the narcissist isn't actually interested in who the new supply is. They are interested in what the new supply gives them. Once the novelty wears off, the narcissist stops seeing the idealized image they projected and starts seeing the reality of the person. Someone who has their own life, their own friends, their own opinions, and, worst of all, their own boundaries. And remember, boundaries are kryptonite to a narcissist. As soon as the new supply attempts to establish normal, healthy relationship parameters, the narcissist's interest plummets because their control is threatened and the illusion of perfection is shattered, revealing the supply's flaws. This shift from perfect idol to flawed annoyance is the official kickoff of the devaluation phase, and it starts much sooner than anyone realizes. The narcissist, unable to tolerate anything less than total subservience and adoration, begins to feel confined and annoyed. The energy and effort they initially invested in the love bombing feels wasted. Suddenly, the quirks they found endearing are now irritating character defects. The compliments dry up, replaced by passive-aggressive jabs or outright criticism. They are essentially punishing the new supply for failing to maintain the impossible standard the narcissist set in the first place, all because they are bored with the predictability. The boredom isn't just passive, it's active. It manifests as restlessness and withdrawal. You might see the narcissist start picking fights out of nowhere, disappearing for long periods, or constantly scrolling through their phone, potentially lining up the next potential source of supply. Why? Because the current relationship is no longer providing that exhilarating, high-level dopamine hit that masked their profound internal emptiness. They require drama, conflict, or fresh admiration to regulate their shaky sense of self. When the current supply starts demanding stability or reciprocity, which is what normal adults do, the narcissist bolts emotionally. Now, let's talk about the specific emotional triggers for the narcissist's fast-tracking boredom. Narcissists suffer from object constancy, meaning they struggle to maintain emotional attachment or value for a person when that person is not actively meeting their immediate needs. Once the new supply stops being a dazzling, constant source of praise and starts demanding attention or emotional effort back, the narcissist's mental switch flips. They become invisible. They are no longer a source of pleasure, they are a burden. The narcissist cannot tolerate effort, especially when the reward, the ego boost, has diminished. This leads to the horrifying realization for the new supply. They are being replaced, often while they are still actively dating the narcissist. The narcissist doesn't waste time fully discarding before seeking the next fix. They simply run concurrent auditions. This restlessness is a clear signal that the new relationship has already entered the stale, boring territory for the narcissist, and they are emotionally checking out. They might physically be present, but their energy and focus are completely external, frantically searching for that next perfect target who promises higher-octane fuel. If you're watching this video and feeling a wave of relief, understanding that their rapid cycle of boredom is exactly what happened to you, then good. You are seeing the pattern clearly. Your pain was never about your worthiness. It was about the narcissist's inherent inability to sustain any relationship based on reality, intimacy, or mutual respect. The new supply will suffer the exact same fate because they are dealing with the same broken mechanism. The narcissist's cycle is fixed, predictable, and inescapable, proving that their relationships aren't built on connection, but on consumption. Many survivors get caught up comparing themselves to the new person. She's prettier. He's richer. They seem so much happier. Stop that right now. That happiness you're seeing is manufactured. It's the performance stage, the love-bombing facade. It's exactly the same act they put on for you, and it's inherently fleeting. The reason the narcissist is already bored is because the new person, just like you, cannot cure their deep self-hatred and inner void. They are just another temporary band-aid over a gaping wound that only inner work and therapy, something the narcissist will never pursue, can fix. The moment the new supply starts asking for genuine depth, vulnerability, or accountability, the narcissist recoils in disgust. They view those demands as boring, draining, and unnecessary relationship maintenance. They crave the chase and the conquest, not the responsibility of a true partnership. Once the conquest is complete and the new supply is secured, the excitement vanishes. They are already looking over their shoulder, wondering if they could have done better, if there's a shinier, less demanding source of attention out there waiting for them to exploit. Think about the profound psychological comfort this realization should bring you. You were discarded not because you failed to be a good partner, but because you failed to be an infinite, non-stop, non-compliant, flawless mirror. That is an impossible job description. The new supply will fail at that job too. They are set up for failure the moment they enter the narcissist's orbit. The boredom and devaluation are not personal failures. They are the unavoidable, inevitable consequences of dating someone who is emotionally stunted and psychologically parasitic. If you are currently observing the new relationship and noticing cracks, maybe they seem stressed, or the social media posts are getting less frequent or overly dramatic, those are often early signs that the narcissistic boredom has set in. The new supply is transitioning from perfect idol to boring hassle. This is when the subtle forms of emotional abuse begin: gaslighting, projection, and the cold shoulder. The narcissist is testing the new supply's boundaries, seeing how much toxicity they can endure before they either break or leave. The emotional turmoil the narcissist experiences when they get bored is actually their inability to tolerate intimacy. True intimacy requires emotional presence, vulnerability, and mutual exchange. All things the narcissist actively avoids because genuine connection exposes their fragility. The moment the relationship demands real intimacy, the narcissist subconsciously declares it boring as a defense mechanism to justify their emotional withdrawal and subsequent hunt for an easier, less demanding source of validation. So, how do we pivot this knowledge into power? We use it as absolute, concrete proof that the cycle is real and it has nothing to do with you. Every time you feel that twinge of jealousy or doubt about the new person, remind yourself. The countdown clock is already ticking for them. They are currently experiencing the love bombing that will turn into devaluation, just like you did. This perspective allows you to shift from feeling like a discarded victim to feeling like a survivor who dodged a bullet and now possesses crucial knowledge about the enemy's strategy. The narcissist cannot truly rest or feel satisfied because their need for external validation is endless. This restlessness is their internal punishment. They are doomed to repeat this shallow cycle of idealize, devalue, discard forever, jumping from one fleeting, intoxicating source to the next, forever searching for the feeling of wholeness they can only find within themselves, but which they refuse to pursue. That's why the new supply is already boring them. They were never looking for a person, they were looking for a high, and tolerance builds fast. The key to your long-term peace is recognizing that the narcissist is not happy. They might stage happiness for the camera, but they are emotionally miserable and chronically unsatisfied. Their boredom with the new supply is not a victory for you, but it is certainly a validation of your suffering. It confirms that the breakdown of your relationship was due to their pathological incapacity for healthy bonding, not your shortcomings. This understanding is the fuel you need to stop obsessing over their current life and start hyper-focusing on yours. This is your moment to truly embrace no contact. When you understand that their current relationship is built on a foundation of sand and is already crumbling due to their own boredom and emptiness, the temptation to check in or respond to a potential Hoover attempt fades away. Why would you engage with someone who is constantly restless, incapable of contentment, and perpetually seeking the next source of drama? You wouldn't. Your life is now too valuable to be a secondary source of supply for a person who is already bored with their primary one. The absolute best thing you can do for your healing is to treat this knowledge, that they are already bored, as permission to completely emotionally disconnect. Their inability to connect deeply is their curse, not yours. They are the ones trapped in the matrix of dissatisfaction, constantly chasing a high that never sustains. You are the one who broke free, and that is a massive victory, regardless of who they are dating now or how hard they are trying to convince the world they are blissfully happy. Remember, a narcissist's happiness is directly proportional to how well they are lying. Let's be clear, the new supply is not your enemy. They are just the next unwitting player in the narcissist's predictable and destructive game. Direct your empathy not toward the narcissist, who is incapable of change without deep, challenging professional intervention, but toward the new supply, who is about to learn the painful lessons you already survived. But most importantly, direct your empathy and love inward, toward yourself, the survivor who is building a magnificent life outside the toxic drama. That is where your energy belongs. You've endured the worst of their cycle, and now you have the privilege of watching the inevitable replay from the safety of your empowered distance. Don't waste this hard-won freedom by staying glued to the screen. Every moment you spend observing their boring, repetitive patterns is a moment stolen from building your extraordinary, drama-free future. They are bored. Let them be bored. You, my friend, are moving on to spectacular things. So remember this critical takeaway. The narcissist's boredom is not a sign that the new supply is bad, but rather confirmation that the narcissist is fundamentally broken and incapable of genuine connection. No person, no matter how amazing, can ever fill the void inside them. That validation, the realization that it was always them and never you, is the most powerful tool for healing that you possess. Hold on to that truth tightly. And that brings us to the end of today's deep dive. I hope this gave you the validation and peace you desperately needed today. Seriously, drop a comment below and let me know if you've seen this fast boredom pattern play out in your own experience. Your story helps so many others heal. If you found power in this validation, please smash that like button, share this video with another survivor who needs to hear this empowering truth, and definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss our next video on protecting your energy and rebuilding your life. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, keep prioritizing your healing.